and we open the curtain. I just happened to be stretching, and I know people recognize this is what I wear. I just happened to be stretching, and then I was like, huh, kind of like I'm behind a curtain. I have a bit of a, I thought it had been on this side. I have a bit of a, I think a scrape. The past 2 or 3 days, I noticed it. Maybe a burn, but I don't think I've been having anything that hot or remember burning it. Or I don't know. But anywho, and I'm still a bit feeling tight in the chest and stuff. So this might not be that long, but I just wanted to do a quick video. And I'm also just thinking for a moment. We have. So how much money did I just make this? I think it's not quite an even split, but I would say that I got 220. Is that right, or 250? Anyway, we ran a bit of a home-based business and just had 6 women through the house, 3, and then came with 3 more, and then and the thing I remember, some people make money more actively than I am. And then when the other 3 came back with the other 3, they kind of let them in, and then they went off. And I said, "Are they coming down or what?" And yeah, I meant to look at the microwave for a moment. But and none of them were here super long. And I don't know how Glenn would have done with that, to be honest, because it was kind of a lot at a time. I'm just going to put this over here for now. Oh, yes, it was also I was also planning on wearing this because I thought it looked kind of like it could be nice in the video. This might be, as we get a viewer, welcome. This might be a series that I do because I think it could be an interesting topic. Not super planned out in the viewer. Don't like the coat. Well, it's very special to me. It's belonged to my dad, and my gloves are in here. I almost forgot. Yeah, I don't know if they were planning to send anybody else. They were having like a spa weekend, and Sonny almost wanted to leave with them both times, even though he loves us and loves living here. He's like, no, you can't go to the spa. And I can't remember. Yeah, it's interesting that they're in our neighborhood. Like they're coming into the city, or they came into the city for, when there's all these other small towns. But I don't know. I guess they drove, and yeah. What we saw is kind of unique, I guess. I'm curious if we get some reviews. But it wasn't being those reviews, but it was just that one question especially sparked me kind of thinking, and then yeah. So anywho, so I guess I don't feel 100%, and I still want to find some meat for later tonight because what I have up is somewhat deep, although it's done in a, I don't know if I'd say gentle way, but it's done in a pretty good way, this movie. But I've already watched some of it, and he's seen a bit of it the one night when he was here. But the one night when I was watching it, perhaps already for the second time. But I'm also still watching for something in the mail, which really should be here today. Well, it might be kind of cool to get it on Friday, the end of the week, although because I don't have any plans. But so, and yeah, unfortunately, even if we had somewhere to stay where we wouldn't be burdened, but even making some good money today, there are some other things I kind of wanted for, and I've been unemployed for a while and then not making any money. It's kind of funny because I didn't say it to them. I said it afterwards. I could have said to them, I guess, if I was really being honest. We talked a little bit about losses and family and stuff before that. But I should have said something about, I like this making money thing. I can get used to it. It is. It's nice to have it. I don't have a lot of high needs other than food and bills, which is, basic. But there's a few things lately. But yeah, unfortunately, that amount that we made, and it's hard to save these days too, wouldn't really, I think, be enough for this trip. We have potentially ill family member that we might have to travel. I don't know. You get an operation. Don't know how that's going to go for her, and if you make it till then. So I don't know what's happening. But where we'd stay, being in a new place, we're not used to that. It's a brave thing to travel sometimes. But and when I said earlier, nobody was watching, but when I said earlier about how when there were 6 of them here, I don't know if how Glenn would have done with them, and now I kind of barely managed. I mean, it was fine and everything. We're used to 1s or 2s at a time. I don't know, it was fine and everything, but I mean, truth be told, um, really these days, I mean, I'm just about 40, have some mild health things happening, but and actually the specifics almost came up, but they didn't. One of them, she thought she knew the miracle cure, and I didn't think she was that young, and as she said that she was closer to 60 than 50, but she says they're aging backwards and light therapy or whatever, Deanna something. Um, and pretty much you lay on this block and you do different movements, and she says it cleared everything up and blah, 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 melts away, blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know. But, it says so muscles or whatever. And it's very interesting how she, without me saying much, but how she kind of narrowed down that, because I wonder if that's some of it, but sometimes it seems like it's other stuff too. But I was meaning to call about my test results, but I might do that tomorrow. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. So I guess I don't have this per se scripted super well, and I guess from this distance you can't really even see my the emblem on there and all that. But basically, it's actually a cool material though. It's nice to wear. And actually, the shirt also, I believe, was Dad's at one point, or one like it. Anywho, so just really quickly, it's already been only 7 minutes, but we're more for small venues. But even that, I mean, I've been so out of the loop in doing them, even karaoke. Like I think I just find it, I mostly, not entirely, but you don't go to venues and things very often, except for like doing a festival sometimes. But I don't know, I might find it all too much, to be quite honest, these days. Um, Side by side, and I could have saved my breath otherwise than say anything else, but on the phone calls there, but I've been on the phone a few times, but yeah, we don't drive, we don't do bars, like I say. We might do festivals, maybe. We've thought of that in the past, but we otherwise, and in fact, I did do a Canada Day festival once with a group. Seniors homes, although lately that's been a little bit, they're not easy gigs to get, especially when the person operating the place is iffy. But and when you're kind of, and that's an unfortunate one because it's pretty close to us and we could walk to it, and we don't have a lot of equipment. And they actually at one point said that they could rent out a cart if we needed it. It's really briefly there, but anyway, so that's the kind of musicians we hope to be, and various genres and stuff like that. In fact, today I kind of tried to talk myself into, in this way that I do sometimes, looking up people that are interested in starting a band. There wasn't a lot of new in the past few weeks, but a few weeks. I was really surprised at that one karaoke host, which is a little different. But if you're musical and you're talented, you would be doing karaoke too. But all it took was mentioning karaoke, and that person was off and running. But no, it's oh, maybe they're back or somebody's here. Welcome. Don't be shy. So basically, I'm just making sure. I know I checked already, but yes, I have the live chat turned on. But the viewer left. But yeah, basically, it's Oh, well, I found one. It was weird. His picture, he looked a bit like my brother, which isn't a trigger, like my other sibling. But then in his video, not so much. But he made it had a very serious face when he was playing music. And the one song was, I believe, an original, and it seemed like that was mostly what he was interested in. I don't hate that, but it's nice to have the option of doing both. And I don't know if he was against that or not. But and I think also he may have had maybe too much equipment in the studio and it's just too much hassle. But he did a cover, or no, he did an original, and it sounded a lot like a Radiohead song. Anywho, so I kind of decided no, and I can't remember some of them. A couple of them were the genres I stay away from, or the genre. One of them was, unfortunately, he had a really nice wooden guitar with like a swirly look, and unfortunately, he was only 15. I think it was a male, so I felt I shouldn't approach that one. Um, some were drummers. I'm not sure if I like drum kits all that much. You think it feels like a lot of the music that I hear on the radio, well, some of it's like electronic or synthesized. I feel like there's not really a lot of drums in music these days. I don't know, I could be wrong. But there's one drummer, well, I know his first name. I guess it's true. Um, and yeah, some people say, oh, you know what to say about drummers. In fact, I was on a plane, speaking of traveling earlier, where somebody we ended up having to change to a different plane last, unplanned, and we had a dog with us, which actually, so my mother, 2005, my mother, I guess, had the dog in the in between seat or whatever. I don't know, or uh, yeah, and she was actually sitting next to somebody who was a coordinator for a festival. If only we weren't going through that big change of moving here, and my mother was more kind of social and like, oh, what she did probably didn't really say I was in a different part that oh, we're new here, or we're moving here, and my son's musical, and probably looking for some opportunities. We should stay in touch. That didn't occur. It seems like I think she did get the person's name, but I have something else up on the phone. But Trudy is kind of a unique name. If I search that in our city, I'll probably find her. I could also say that it's the same as Bonnie's last name, and also you could say I believe the Peanuts comic has a character with a name. Anyway, point of the matter being, I was in first class because I guess, like I say, that just kind of happened with Def Leppard, which I'd heard of them. I probably would have said that they did the song "Pour Some Sugar on Me." Otherwise, I would have known. I found out afterwards that I think my mother found out through the other lady that they were on the plane. And honestly, the other part of it is nobody else seemed to really be reacting to them in a way that seemed all that noticeable. Come to think of it, when I think about this every now and then, I've not thought about that. But yeah, so nothing really clued me in. I mean, one was sleeping a lot during the flight, and it wasn't a super long flight, I don't think. One was on his laptop, one was on his cell phone doing whatever. But yeah, and you'd think the one-armed drummer would have given it away, but I didn't know that the band had a one-armed drummer. But I mean, like I wasn't their biggest fan, or even that knowledgeable of them, I guess you could say. But otherwise, that would have been a good in too. Come to think of it. And my mother almost met Jan Arden, and we had somebody here for 2 minutes at a conference that she had to attend for work, and I was hoping that I'd either go downstairs and meet her, but she left early for Edmonton or something like that, or that my mother was. But anyway, whatever. I've done some open mics. I've done some karaoke. But yeah, as I've been getting further and further into my 30s, I feel like I'm changing, man. I'm changing. I still want to do music, but it's kind of like things just often don't line up in our favor. And then as far as this home business that we have, we get people through here, and sometimes usually they come through the main part of the house, and we have instruments. We do. Um, some people really don't ask. The ones that were here today, they even, they look at the personal mustache. And I've been noticing that some people don't seem to respect that, actually. And they're nice enough people. But it's kind of like, oh, well, those are the ones that are not for sale. Oh, I just want to look. Whatever. I don't know. And one of them, she's like, I want to make sure it's not just a thing on whim, and it might become an obsession or whatever. So I start with one, but the other one, like she kept finding ones that she liked. It's like, okay, well, I have to get this. So, and she didn't really was with him and hawing, but she had the cash on her, so. But so they were kind of looking at some of the parts that we actually had stored under the piano, even, and they asked who plays. And I think one of them maybe said a lot of instruments. And we talked about like a couple of loved ones' pictures because she thought that the Steve's picture was Glenn. She didn't know them, so whatever. It's like, oh, is that Glenn? No, that's far passed away, and that one's another one recently of 32. Oh, very young. So sorry to hear, kind of thing. So, yeah, but and maybe they were a part of today. Like you say, I think the Ravens are with us more than we realize. But I've been going on about a lot of that stuff, and I do have to check the mail soon, and the sun's out, and I might want to. And if it is March break, then that's why the area is a bit more quieter. I guess they all seem to get summer camps, or seems a little early to be at the lake, especially since we're still getting snow. But whether it's on here and it's just really quiet, and over the years he's built a lot of subscribers. I don't know, somewhere like your description. I don't know what it is. And yeah, I'm on here a lot more than he is. He works a lot, but you have to have a certain number of subscribers to go live, which is very handy and faster and easier and all that stuff. And I just don't have. I honestly don't know how many I have, but probably under 100. But I don't really promote the channel, and I don't know. And it seems very hit and miss. Now, I'm not speaking to us, so I'm going to wrap up in a moment. But yeah, I mean, it was slightly unexpected, and then it was only like 10 or 15 minutes later, the other three came, and it's kind of like, and I feel like, with the channel thing, but I feel like with the music, as much as I like it and know I have talent, not to toot my own bugles, I say, and the viewers here for the equipment, but I feel like I'm just not in performance mode anymore. Like, I guess what you could say is that I'm just burnt out, trying to get opportunities and be heard and all that, and it's just like I'm burnt out and trying. I'm in my 20s again. It wasn't so bad. A lot of things are better then. Not that things are terrible now, but there are some things that and it could be hard to put some of them in place, and who knows. But basically, yeah, it's kind of like, but I mean, we were talking and visiting, and I suppose it's true if one of them had said, out of either the group of three had said, could you play something? Because I did say I play a little bit of piano and I sing. Maybe they got the vibe like I really didn't want to. If I had been more like, can I play you something? Sure. Glenn's kind of good at that. But again, I think it's because in most of my 30s, anytime I've tried to get somewhere with music, there's been a couple times where we've had like a one-off gig here and there, but it really just doesn't go anywhere. I mean, there's a lot of competition, yada yada. There are limitations. I'm going to go to the other room just for a moment. I'm not planning to go too much longer here, but. And you can be a local band or a fam band if you have that kind of family. I mean, I have somebody in my blended family. They've also who is they had 5 kids. Feels like just like 4 years ago, most of them were still pretty young, but I mean, I think the oldest is maybe 24, 25. They have one that just had 2 kids within a few months of each other, I think. After getting married, sequence of societal order, so to speak, for lack of a different way to put it. And she was trying to start up a business too. So, like I feel like maybe she didn't quite. I mean, she has good support, I guess, with the parents, but maybe I don't know. What do I know? Maybe didn't quite have stable. It's just connected to me, but not very often. I don't even know if she fully realizes it's me. Let it go by. But income. I mean, I guess maybe her partner did, but before having kids. But her parents. So I would say the youngest is probably 12. Then they have like a maybe 14, and they have like a 16, an 18, a 20, a 24, or 20 something, and a 24. And the oldest one that has kids is still doing music with the parents actually, and it's really they're very blessed. They're a musical family. They're close. They're tight knit. Like I said, this isn't my blended family, and they live outside of the city a little bit, but it's kind of like, but they drive. They do. But the other thing is that aside from health in general, is I do sometimes think my Asperger's is. I wish it was called something else. But see, autism, people hear that and they think, people that make vocalization issues and need like constant care or whatever. So I do kind of like the term because it's the level that I have, I would say. But I've heard mixed things about what people feel about such. I'm just going to do one other thing. There's nobody here at the moment. I'm going to use some mouthwash. I've been using it a lot lately. I was moments away from posting, got distracted. Then the page loaded, or didn't not only be loaded out of the group, but the post went away, but I copy pasted it. So it is. It makes me wonder whether I should post or not. But just keep it for my own notes. But it was an interesting comment that was made, and thankfully they took a chance and told they knew the truth. But I wouldn't want to be insulting or anything, and yeah. Anywho. But part of the matter is, so I guess today was an example of, like, there were 6 people through the house who seemed kind of interested in music, but not musical necessarily. And it just didn't transpire. And I think of other examples where, musically things have just not been happening. And then I also kind of think, like, say, the health stuff a little bit and the changes that I've been going through in my 30s. And in some cases, lack thereof hasn't helped. And it's kind of like, is music meant for me anymore? I know that some people will say it's a tough industry, this and that. But yet, so many people, whether they are world famous, Canada-wide famous, doing well within their city, so many people do well. I do think that maybe being in a band helps, although it comes with its own challenges. In fact, that did kind of come up. I said, I do it when I'm called to, which isn't a lot late, but it was a little bit before then. It was downstairs. I said, I'm kind of looking at being a band, but haven't found yet, or something like that. But I don't know if any of them are really musical, But yeah, it's a little disheartening, and I don't want to give up. But as a musician and a performer and an entertainer in general, though, like I say, the general thing is more so like genuine, and it's not me being creative or trying to be entertaining. If the soul is creative and entertaining, then that would come through probably. But you know what? That's a good example of something I talked about the other day, actually, where it's kind of like, sorry, there's all these waters here. It's kind of This one's a good temperature. This one's been up here for a while. I came upstairs with this one that was air. But yeah, it's kind of like but then sometimes I've just been too tired or distracted or there's been more than one. But like there's a like George for instance, he's goofy and Clark, but they're not like super loud. Like that would be JP, and you saw a bit of that. You can see a bit of that in yesterday's video. I can't remember if I did one this morning or not. I think I did. But anywho, so yeah, I mean, and I always got them, and then to get each other, but hate that repetitive music. Hate being asked that question. This one's someone I talk to. But early next week, I mean, I guess I kind of gave my availability. It'd be better to know more precisely when to expect it, but I guess I can change tasks if I need to. I've started to write some things. Oh yeah, I did make note of that as long as I can make sense of it there. But yeah, so basically, I don't know. Nobody's here. I haven't been really rolling that long, but I'm curious your thoughts in the comments as far as well anything I've said, but yeah, also kind of just in general the music industry. And song requests because I was hoping I'd get some while I was doing this. I may have only had one or two or three in me. I would have tried for two or three at most. But the sun's going in behind clouds. I can turn this light on. Nobody's here, so what's the point? That's the thing as an entertainer. It's kind of like whether it's a live audience or a virtual audience. Yeah, you can do it just because you like to do it, and that's great. And I've been doing that a bit lately, actually. But ultimately, we want to be reaching people. We want to be comforting them, healing them, making them happy, making them dance, all that good stuff, right? So, and as much as it's about our talent, it's about the other people too, And if they are here or available, or some people are so blessed, but I may not want it to the level that a lot of them have. A little bit more would be great. Yeah, the business has been doing very well too. It's like I don't know what's going on. Just helping out more, or it seemed to be a great. But then people are buying a variety. I am very surprised we don't have more etched ones. Very surprised. Although we may have gotten rid of some with recent customers, but it's and it's good to help out. So we said you're just here because he's not here or whatever. I mean, it's the house. So I also live here and I help out. I did say that I wasn't as knowledgeable or whatever, but and they didn't seem hugely to be. But yeah, it's it's something. It's not a dream job, that but it's a purpose and it's some socializing when it happens. And you know what? This made up for something. I don't want to get into details, but then I found out something that would have made me maybe have different feelings if I found it out sooner. And I'm trying to look at it that way, but still not the brightest person. Communication not great, so we'll see. But yeah, this is one of my shorter ones. I knows that, but yeah, I want to make sure because it is kind of damp still outside that I get my that thing I'm waiting for the mail if I've gotten it, and I'm hoping that the weather's good. Yeah, I might just take the hubs off my bike. I don't know. And I've written it and I've typed it. I think it's best if I can find out where to get it and everything. Wigs. And it's unfortunate I have this, and he likes it and would like it to be longer, to be honest. And also, I can never get it that short, and I don't think I'd want to. I think I would look funny with it shorter. But anyway, so and I'm trying to watch the dog tomorrow. Maybe call the lab or the doctor and get my results. I really won't have to wait till Monday, but if I have to, whatever. So I still doing virtual appointments. I was at a grocery store recently and they were wearing masks again. But anywho, I guess that's all for now for part one. And honestly, I don't even know if there's really much else to say other than doing music. If you know, But there's a lot on YouTube. I guess that's part of it, and algorithms. If they're not in your favor, I don't know. I don't know, but it's hard and it's sad to think that I might not do with music what I'd like to do with it. The rest of my life, however long that is. And in the previous video, I was talking about bucket list. Well, I've been a bit distracted even before these people came, but I know I said put some things that are easy to achieve. Well, these are like the things I want to get, I guess. I don't know. I'm struggling to put it together. So I might have to post and other social media and get tips. In fact, I did at the end of my one post. Us and the family do have going through some health problems, so please keep us in your thoughts. And I hate to finish this at 31 mark, but not a whole heck else to say. But it's amazing. He says he hasn't bought anything for the shop in like 3 years, 3 or 4 years. I don't think that's the case. Although when I first moved in 7 years ago, it did seem to be 2 or 3 times a year. I don't think it's been quite that long though. Part of it's been, it's only just started to pick up, like in the past couple of months, I feel like, and then it goes through slow spurts. But it feels like it's been going pretty steady for longer than usual. But then also people have been buying a variety of stuff, so it's not just. But yeah, I can't believe that. I shouldn't have taken it off the shelf. As soon as I did, that lady wanted it, and it was heavy and very fancy, and I was surprised that, considering how some of them are actually quite expensive, that wasn't, 200 is not cheap, but wasn't one of them. And I wish especially since there's not many of them. And that's the other thing. Nice as they were, and they gave us good business and this and that, I kind of feel like, like they were not really respecting. I understand sometimes people are just curious, and I don't know, but they weren't really respecting. Oh, those aren't really for sale. Well, the one or two of them did. It's like, oh, those I think I put aside for someone. I had to say it a second time, but like maybe she didn't hear it the first time because she wasn't quite standing near it. But and about how like how we didn't really want to part with this one. I guess they figured that it shouldn't be in view for customers. Then I don't know. That bothered me a little bit. It did. But other than that, like I said, we got some business. They were nice ladies. And especially the blonde one, who seemed like she was a bit more kind of, less curious and less impulsive. I guess those two things could go together. Who was actually like under the piano and at that shelf. But she did lose out of the one she got, and yeah. Got a really nice tall one and had some markings on it. So yeah, the one looked like Donna Brissell. And the other one actually looked ironically like Dora. So the other DO name with an A at the end. And there's so much about Ontario. It's like greenhouses and I'll have to look them up later, Mr. Nutties, and see. Anywho, I'm wandering off and honestly getting quite tired and wanting to go downstairs and after I do something else up here, so we'll wrap it up for now.